Editor's note, I did not use I I did not use Super Smash Bros. Ultimate gameplay. I would have if I could have, but I couldn't find anything to like on the in the settings to like make that possible by linking my Switch to Twitch. Hey, that rhymed. Uh, and how I get gameplay is just streaming on Twitch, recording the stream, and then and then and using that as gameplay footage. So if you're wondering why the gameplay isn't Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, that is why. Hey, Misto here. Uh, if you watched through the last video, like for some reason 400 and something of you did. I'm not sure why. I thought that would been one of the like my worst doing video, but apparently not. uh, I don't know. You'll probably know that I was planning to do a character thing. It was like a character thing with jokes in it, like what I did in the Wheatley as a Moron video, which I keep bringing up, but that's because it's like my most popular video. Anywho, I couldn't figure out how to do the joke to make it last a little longer outside of like the first like 3 seconds or so. So we're doing this instead. Characters that should have been in Super Smash Bros. Instead of a bunch of anime boys. Nintendo. No one cares about Fire Emblem except for a bunch of weebs that still lives in their mother's house even though they're 30 odd years old. Anyways, this goes from characters that would have made complete sense to characters that probably wouldn't even get into the game, but it's fun to dream. Anywho, let's start off the list, and we'll be starting off the list with a character that already has a model in the game, and that is Eevee. If you think about it, the normal attacks could have been either tackle or quick attacks. The normal special could the normal special could have been Undershock. The side specials could have been Water Gun. The down specials could have been Leech Seed, and the up special could have been in Snarl. Now the normal and the sides would have just like done normal like just damage, with the side special having a longer range. The down special could have not only hurt the opponent, but also would heal you up a little bit. And the Snarl, well, couldn't do damage, could weaken the attack of their special attack and or stun them. Well, I'm not sure which one I prefer. The idea of and the and the fi- I know and the I know a special attack, Final Smash, that's the word, of could have been the Eevee and all of its evolutions attacking, going in like full charge of all of them, of like all of the type specific moves, like in like the Z move in Pokemon Sun and Moon, something like that. Something similar to the Pokemon Trainer, but like except with the starters, it would have been evolutions. I personally think that would have been a good idea, since Eevee's kind of like if Pikachu wasn't the mascot, Eevee would have probably been the mascot because it has so many evolutions and stuff, and it also has a game like just about it. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. So let's move on to the next character before it becomes so long that no one would want to watch anymore. This one I haven't nearly as hard enough as I have with Eevee, but this one would make perfect sense They even made a costume of him and everything. I'm not talking about Sans. Sans would have been fucking stupid, alright? I am talking about Tails, because Tails is literally the sidekick of Sonic. It would have made perfect sense. And I am I'm not quite sure what his special moves would be, except for his side being a spin attack like Sonic's, but he wouldn't be an Echo Fighter. And I know for a fact that his final smash would have been perfect, with like him ashing the tornado onto the opponent like he does in Sonic Adventure 1, but in the sand and not to an enemy. Again, if you would like to comment down below, what special moves would have been perfect for Tails, please do so. But for now, I am still mad at the fact that they didn't add him as an actual character in the game, and instead just relegated him to being a fucking costume in the game. Like, it's not like Sans, where like he's an indie character and you know, it kind of makes sense. He's just a little younger than Sonic himself was, at least when he was introduced in Sonic Adventure. It's not Sonic Adventure, Sonic 2. But no, they gave him a costume. Why? Again, sidekick to Sonic would have made complete sense. This one's kind of a similar case with Tails, but it's not Tails, it's Knuckles. This would have also made complete sense. He was also a costume as well, and I do have a bit more of an idea of what his moveset would have been, but I still don't know about his up and down specials. I do know that his normal special would be a long-ranged punch like he does in Sonic Adventure 1, and his side special could be a wall-breaking based attack, because in the 2D Sonic games he's able to break through the walls without doing a spin dash. So and his final would have been his hyper form, which would have acted similar to Sonic's super form in Super Smash Bros. As you can tell by my voice, I calmed down a bit. So yeah. Again, it's still stupid that they didn't put Knuckles in the game, but we just had to have an anime boy, cause that is totally on the Nintendo brand. I say this like Snake isn't in the game, but with Snake, it's a one and done. Oh, we're gonna put Snake in the game, but we're not gonna add any more characters from Metal Gear Solid. With Final Fantasy, they just went, oh, let's put one Final Fantasy character in, and then another, and then another, and then another, until the point where the probably already has more characters in the game than Mario itself. Mario. Anyways, let's move on to the next point. Here's the first one that probably would have never had a chance to come on to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate roster ever, and as Isaac from the Binding of Isaac. But if the rating was an E for everyone, Peggy 12. But if the rating wasn't aimed directly for kids, this would have been Isaac would have been a great choice to have, because all of his skins could have been all of the characters you play as in the game. Well, not all of them, but like a good portion of them. And his side could have been a pony, which would have given him flight and a dash attack. Or not flight, but he would have had a dash attack. Normal would summon either spiders or flies. Down would have been Lemon Party, which would hit opponents like a little bit when they go near Isaac. Up would have been Bob's brains, which he could have just chucked at the enemy to cause an explosion, but would also have a chance to not hit anything and explode himself. And his final would have been perfect. Would have been Brimstone, which which would just like send a blast of red death, basically. Would have been beautiful. We could have done. We could also do something in like synergies, like how you can in the game, but that would have might have been a bit too complicated. But they did something complicated with Steve, but he was a bit simpler because like with Steve, you have a choice on whether or not you want to like what things you want on you. With Isaac, it's just a roll of the dice. If we had Isaac in the game and with some Isaac related items like the angel, like the not angel hearts, what are they called? The hearts that are like blue. I cannot remember them at the moment. I'll probably put it on screen. And the black hearts. Again, I can't really remember them. Probably put them on screen, but you know what I'm talking about. Which where the blue ones could give you a bit of health, more health to fall back on, and the black ones would do the same. But if you get hit, you could cause damage to the enemy. Isaac would have been great to have onto the roster. It is a shame that he never made it, but at the same time, he probably couldn't make it either. So you know. Anyways, let's move on to the next one on this funky little list. The next one on this list is Chell. Not as a proper character, but as a Mii costume, because honestly, Chell doesn't have much to go off when it comes to like what you could implement in moves, unless you want to get creative and like have all the lab stuff be her moveset. But personally, I don't think that would make sense. But her having being a costume would have been amazing. It would have been so cool and actually be a good reason to have as a costume and not Tails and Knuckles, Nintendo. But yeah, Chell as a costume would have been awesome. I'm just saying. We have another costume character. Well, two, because fuck you, I guess. I know one of them wouldn't get into the game because one was released East like a good few years after Ultimate was released, and if I'm correct, stopped adding updates. I could be wrong though. But but like these ones would have been cool. It's actually free. I just remembered one. Oh, and that is as costumes. Six, the Runaway Kid, and Mono. I'm saying costumes because as much as I'd like to play as them in games, I'm not sure what movesets they would have. I know Mono would have a bit more of a chance to have an actual moveset, but that's stretching it. But as costumes, they would have been really cool. Again, I know that the rating probably wouldn't allow it, but this one they could kind of get away with because, like, unlike with Isaac, where they have to show like things that like probably wouldn't be suitable for kids. With with Little Nightmares and the three characters I picked, you don't have to show what makes the game 16. And that would have been it. That would have been really cool in my opinion. Yeah, so cool, very epic. The last character on the list, and again probably one that probably wouldn't get into the game, but would be really cool to see, and that is Ghost or the Knight from Hollow Knight. His attack axe would have been simple. It would be him. His normal attacks would have been him using well, I say him, but it's they them, but the normal attacks would be them using the nail to hit opponents from different angles. His the side attack would have been Vengeful Soul, which which would give him a bit of like a long range attack that would hit the opponent. His normal one would have been focus, which would have healed him, but would also leave him open to attacks like how it is in the normal Hollow Knight game. Down would have been this a salute dive, which could kind of be like Kirby's down attack in terms of like the fact that like if you do it correctly, you can do some serious damage. Up would have been Howling Wrath, which would be good for juggling, and his final, I'm not quite sure if the creature now in the true ending is him or not. I can't really remember, but and I can't remember the name of it either. But it's a shadowy figure that destroys the absolute radiance, or was it something else? I'm not sure. I'll put a clip of the character on screen now, if 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 I find any. So yeah, that's all the characters that I would have liked to see in the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, at least from the top of my head. There's probably a lot of others, but I'm not gonna cover those. Anyways, this has been Mr. Meter, and welcome back to the autism rant, I guess, and bye bye.